Okay, excellent. Stop. Hello, hello. Good evening, folks. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining this live stream. Today, we're going to be doing a free career clinic, and we're going to be talking about finding meaning in your career. So, I hope this is a topic that is interesting for you. I'm very excited to talk to you about it today. So, meaning is very interesting. It's one of those kind of questions that people found themselves asking more and more throughout COVID because we're all stuck at home. We're pondering more and more about life and trying to figure out what it was all about and reflecting on our jobs and careers and figuring out, well, what is the purpose of it? What are we really trying to achieve? What's the impact we're trying to have at the end of the day? So that's why this topic of finding meaning in your career is so important. Um, the first point to make about this, and I'm going to be taking questions from viewers throughout this session, so please feel free to put your questions in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The first point to make is, you can find meaning directly or indirectly. What do I mean by that? Well, you can find meaning uh, in the direct aspect of the work in terms of, let's say you really want to help people, so you decide you want to be a doctor, or you really like um, working with people emotionally. So maybe being a psychotherapist is really good for you in that respect. Perhaps you like helping people physically. In that case, occupational therapist is a nice one to work with. Other people, maybe they like helping children. So they want to be a primary school teacher, or they want to be, like a child therapist or a play therapist or something like that. So there's lots of different ways of getting meaning through your work, through the nature of the work itself. Other people feel like that's very difficult because they've got other values or other priorities in their life. So they want to just do a job, or they want to have a career that allows them to, let's say, have freedom, earn a good salary or earn a normal salary. And then outside of work, they use that time to really find meaning, whether it's volunteering for a local youth group, or helping a local football team, or volunteering in the local community, to help disadvantaged people or homeless people, or whatever it might be. So, you know, just because we're talking about finding meaning in work, it doesn't mean that if your work is not, let's say, naturally, organically something that really contributes to society, that doesn't mean that you cannot still use that to give you the opportunity to contribute outside. So the first question really comes down to whether you want to find meaning directly or indirectly from your work. Now, let's say you decide you want to find meaning directly in your work. Uh, well, how do you want to go about doing that? Do you want to find it, or do you want to find meaning through helping other people, or making a difference emotionally, physically, spiritually, intellectually? These are all different ways that you can have it, make a difference, or contribute to the world, or contribute to to society. Um, so, really, it's about asking yourself what has meaning for you, and what do you want to, use to make your mark. A good way to think about this is identifying what you're really interested in, maybe a cause that you feel really passionate about, maybe something that you really want to stand up for, or you really want to help people with. And if you can find that thing that you're very interested in, and then see how your transferable skills connect with that. And so you can look at some of my other videos where I talk about transferable skills. You look at the cross section of those two things, that area you're really interested in and passionate about, that is like a personal mission that you have, and the crossover with your transferable skills. And so if you think about it that way, like I remember when I started career coaching, I was really passionate about helping people, and I still am. I'm really passionate about helping people build confidence, change jobs, because I really feel like once you have a good job, once you have your career set up, then it's so much easier to have stability. It's so much easier to, um, you know, maybe get somewhere nice to live, and it can build your confidence so that you feel better in personal relationships, you feel better at work, you feel better, in all different areas of your life. I just felt that that was one of the big things that we could practically work on that would help you in all the other areas. Plus, in my case, it particularly sat well because it crossed over with some of my transferable skills, my skills for coaching, my skills for business development, for marketing. So that worked really, really well in my case. So the question is, What is something that has meaning for you that you're interested in that crosses over with your transferable skills? And that is a great way to think about that question. Now, when you do think about that question, the next point you might want to figure out is your mission statement, because this can be something that's easy to forget, easy to let slip. As time goes by, maybe you get distracted or your focus goes elsewhere. That's why you really want to have a mission statement. You want to ask yourself, um, why do you care about this? What is the specific contribution you can make? Why should you care? Why does anyone care? And how you can make the best impact possible. You might even want to ask yourself, what do you want to have achieved over 5 years or over 10 years, over the course of your whole career in terms of this? So, what is your mission statement? We know companies have mission statements, we know charities have mission statements. So, why not have a mission statement for your career, outlining exactly who you are, what your values are, what you want to achieve, and why it's so important to you? And then you can use that as a guiding star going forward, so you know what you're about. And you know that even when you encounter these struggles or these challenges, you know why you're taking on these difficult challenges, and you know why it's worth staying the course. Okay, so I hope that makes sense so far. Please note that at any moment you can ask me a question. I've got YouTube open down here, and I'll be happy to answer as soon as I can. Okay. Um, Next, you want to think about the technical side versus the non-technical side. So if you think of the non-technical side, that's what I was mentioning a moment ago. We're talking about transferable skills. We're talking about how your knowledge, your career capital so far, your abilities, all of those existing elements in your career capital can be harnessed to go and do something else, um, something you find particularly meaningful. Now, there is the other technical side, where you want to work specifically on, the subject matter, but that usually requires specific training. So, if we think about some of the big topics, that some of the biggest problems in the world at the moment, we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about animal welfare, we're talking about artificial intelligence. Obviously, policy reform is an ongoing topic that we have to make sure our policies are up to date, regarding climate change, regarding nuclear security, regarding all these sort of big topics. So that would be more getting into the technical nuts and bolts. In that case, you might not be working with the transferable skills as much. You might be working more on your technical skills. So let's say, for example, you're a lawyer or you're a solicitor. You might think, well, that would mean I would be involved in climate change law, or I would be working on sustainability policy, or whatever it might be. They'd be the sort of ways of going about that. Or let's say you're a medical professional and you want to have a greater impact. You might find yourself saying, well, maybe I should work for Doctors Without Borders, or whatever it might be. So that's thinking about the technical side versus the non-technical side. And I only bring that up because I guess if you're on the technical side, you really understand how your skills can be applied to these specific areas. But remember, if you're on the non-technical side, and let's say you've got good transferable skills like project management or program design or product management, maybe you're a very good relationship builder, perhaps you're very good operationally. All these things have huge value in other sectors as well, including the not-for-profit sectors, the charity sector, governmental sectors, all these sort of areas that aim to make a big impact on society, on the world, on these type of areas that we typically associate with having great meaning. If you're interested in seeing like a real case study, I did a really nice interview with a friend of mine, Alex McKenzie, where she talked about being, the chief of staff for a not-for-profit in the Congo. And when you watch that interview, you can see how her day-to-day role was so much about relationship building. It was so much about operations. It was really a hands-on role, and it was less about like knowing exactly a specific policy, although there was elements of that as well. But it was really about transferable skills. It was really about getting things done operationally and building strong relationships. So let's see if we've any questions. No questions so far, so I guess we're all good. I know we're on a couple of other platforms as well, so I'm just trying to watch them all. Now, in terms of deciding how to make a difference, uh, that's really up to you. If you feel um, if you feel working in the specific area is the most important thing, whether it be climate change, whether it be animal welfare, AI policy, biosecurity, nuclear security, whatever it is, you really have to decide what's most important to you and write those points down. You might even have some concerns that you want to write down, and you want to research a few people in the area and ask them, questions and say, what happens if this happens? Um, yeah, how do I get into the field? Do you have any books I should read? Do you have any recommendations of who I should speak to? What are the sort of jobs going? Are they hiring at the moment? All these typical questions that you would want to ask before you're going to get into a new field. Um, I suppose in terms of some pathways, practically speaking, there's a few clear pathways that you might want to look at if you want to have a job that you feel has more meaning. Um, Maybe you feel like your job is really just about making more money for your company. I remember one of my friends telling me that he just felt that when he was working in his company, it was just another way to make his boss have have a bigger boat or have a bigger car. In other words, he didn't really see any inherent meaning in it. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't meaning in it. That's just the way he personally felt. So in that case, it's like, well, what is a practical pathway that he could find, or what's a practical pathway you could find that will allow you to find a job where you felt, yeah, I'm actually making a difference. My work matters. I matter. And this is something that's going to have a good impact on society and the world. So let me give you a couple of practical examples. Well, the first one is the civil service, right? The civil service is the biggest employer in the country, and it's literally there for the people. It's to help the country run better. It's to help the community run better. It's basically helping us with all of our day-to-day necessities, all the services we need to make our life as enjoyable, healthy, and safe as possible. All that sort of good stuff. The civil service is a really good place to start. They really do embrace a wide variety of transferable skills. Um, and that's why they always have competency based exams, because they want to know if you can communicate well, if you can manage projects, if you have good organizational values, um, and if you can work well with stakeholders. They're the typical competencies that they look for. So if you're interested, a good place to start is looking on publicjobs.ie or any sort of website in your country that has civil service roles. The next one is obviously charity and not for profit. Now, one of the big concerns we have when we talk about charity or not for profit is like, people are like, yeah, I love the idea of working for a charity and making a difference or helping, but I don't want to become the charity. In other words, I don't want to, sacrifice my life so much that I'm under financial pressure or under financial stress to actually go and work in that charity. Well, the good news is there's more and more charity organizations that are being more transparent about the salaries that they're offering. Typically, they are going to be a little bit lower than commercial salaries. That's just the nature of it. But there are some organizations that are more transparent, and they are offering salaries closer to the market rates than previously. Uh, One of these examples is backed by this movement called effective altruism. Now, I've only come across effective altruism in the last couple of years because of one of my close friends. Now, effective altruism is all about how we can do the biggest good as possible, make the biggest impact for the least amount of resources. It's basically using a data-driven approach to have an impact on the world and to make people's lives better and animals' lives better and a safer and more secure world and the environment better, all this sort of good stuff, right? Um, so effective altruism has, they take a very pragmatic approach to, solving the world's problems and helping people get into these jobs and into these careers. So one pathway would be to look on a website like 80,000 hours. And if you Google the website 80,000 hours, you can see the types of jobs they list in the types of fields they list. And you can look at the salaries that are going for those types of jobs. Some of the jobs are remote, some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time, some of them are hybrid. And so it really just depends what you're looking for. But you can go in there and you can search for jobs based on the industry or based on the type of problem you're looking to solve. So whether you're trying to solve an animal welfare problem or sustainability or environmental problem, or if you're looking to solve biosecurity problem or nuclear problem, all of them are there. Um, you can even search for keywords like research or funding or advocacy or anything like that that you're interested in, and you can find those types of jobs. Now, those jobs only exist to make the world a better place. Those jobs are highly meaningful, um, and they're supported by the organizations that are well established at this stage, um, and they've got good career structures around them. They provide a lot of these organizations also provide coaching, typically free coaching, free support, and they really want to help you get into the career. And after that, they provide training. So it really is an excellent option for somebody who's looking for more meaning in their career. So I hope this is making sense to you, and I hope you're finding it useful. We're talking about finding meaning in your career. Let me get the right one. We're talking about finding meaning in your career and how you can contribute to society and how you can make a difference, um, and how you can get your own needs met in the meantime, whether it be getting a salary or having remote work or whatever it is your top priority. You can do both. Um, so so that's the other point, is figure out what are the most important problems for you to solve. I told you in my case, I feel really passionate about helping people get jobs, helping people build confidence, helping people make progress with their career, because I really feel that helps them in all the other areas of their life. If we can help their communication skills, their presentation skills, their marketing skills, it helps with lots of different things and not just the job. So that has a lot of meaning for me. But like, what has meaning for you? What is a problem that you really want to solve? Um, Write that down. Start creating that mission statement today, and that is something you can build on day after day, week after week. And any questions that come up, you can write them down. You can solve them. You can go to people like me, or you can go to people in these organizations and ask them, "Look, I've still got this problem. I don't know how to get into the career," and they might say, "Well, do a one-to-one career session with one of our advisors," or they might say, "Do our online course." Excuse me. Or they might say, you need to read a few of these books, or you need to do this training course. But the point is, there are plenty of pathways out there once you open your mind and you start looking for these. I want to be even more specific around the pathways with you. So I want to outline some. Um, I want to outline some organizations. So I've also already mentioned 80,000 hours. So the website 80,000 hours has a job board full of high impact roles regarding global health, policy, emerging tech, and so on. So that's 80,000 hours, the job board. There's also another organization called Open Philanthropy. Um, it's all about providing grants and research roles which look into critical global issues. Okay, so that's called Open Philanthropy. It's for getting, you can get a grant, you can get involved in research roles, and you can solve critical issues in the world, or you can contribute to solving critical issues at least. There's another website called Opportunity Green. This is for jobs in sustainability and environmental policy, right? Opportunity Green for jobs in environmental policy and sustainability. Now, some of these organizations, they might have jobs that cross over. They might have jobs that are kind of similar, but typically you won't find these type of jobs on regular job boards. Um, so it really is important to keep a lookout on these sort of alternative job sites. Another one is Work on Climate. This is where they connect professionals with climate focused organizations. It's like, instead of having Indeed for all the commercial type of roles, you've got these other job boards for the effective altruism or the not for profit sector. So Work on Climate is one. 80,000 hours is another. Opportunity Green is a third, and Open Philanthropy is a fourth. And then finally, there's one more. If you're interested in animal advocacy or animal welfare or veganism or anything like that, Animal Advocacy Careers has a great website where they provide lots of roles where you can look at animal welfare organizations, how you can contribute to the technical sides or the non-technical sides, right? They might need someone to work on policy. They might need someone to work on advocacy. They might need someone to do fundraising. They might need someone else to do marketing or coordination. Or I've even seen events for event coordination or event management. So it's worth taking a look at those type of job sites. And I think you'll find, as you go through those sites, you'll find, they recommend you to another site, and then you find more opportunities there. And then you can search on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn. You can search on social media for organizations that combine these type of roles, and you can follow those social media accounts. Once you follow those social media accounts, it's much easier for you to check in daily or weekly and see what the updates are, see what new jobs are coming on, see what new events they're hosting, and it just allows you to filter your focus a lot more. Okay. Now, we're making good progress. So we talked about the pathways to getting into meaningful work. We've talked about effective altruism. We've talked about important problems, deciding how to make a difference. We've talked about creating a mission statement. We've talked about the technical side and the non-technical side. We've talked about finding meaning. Uh, so finally, I'd just like to uh, let you ask any questions. If anyone has any questions coming in, please let me know. Otherwise, I will end the stream and sign off work for the day. Um, so I think we're all good. I hope I've explained it well. I don't have any questions coming in, but I hope this has made sense to you and that you found it beneficial listening to all these variations of jobs you can get and how you can find meaning in your work, either directly through the work you do or indirectly through what your work allows you to do outside of work, whether it's help out a local organization, volunteer, or do charity work on the weekends, for example. Finally, if you have any other questions or if you have any comments, please leave them under the video and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Or feel free to write me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks so much for watching and have a good evening.